They say, beyond the dry plains of the south, where the wind never sleeps, stands a single baobab, older than the memory of men. The villagers call it Mbuyu wa Kilio, the weeping baobab. No one dares to walk near it after sundown, because when the night is silent, the tree begins to whisper, and those who answer never return. In the nearby village of Kalenga, stories of the tree are passed down like sacred warnings. The baobab cries for the woman who was buried inside it, the elders say. She was accused of witchcraft and sealed alive within its trunk. Every child in Kalenga knows the rule. When the wind carries her cry, do not look, do not listen, and never answer. But one day, a young scholar arrived from the city, curious about legends that time had forgotten. He carried books, maps, and a small recorder, yet nothing could prepare him for the silence of Kalenga. "You seek the crying tree?" asked an old woman by the road. Her eyes were pale as ash. "Then you have already been called." That night, as the wind began to moan, the scholar stood outside his hut. The moon was full, and its light fell upon the great baobab in the distance. For a moment he thought he saw something move. A shape of a woman pressed against the trunk, her mouth open in a silent scream. Then the wind carried a faint whisper, calling his name.
"Help me." The voice came soft, like a breath on his ear. He turned, but no one was there, only the sound of the baobab breathing. And in that breath, he heard his name again. When morning came, the plains were silent again. The scholar awoke to find dust covering his lantern and his recorder dead. He told himself it was a dream, a trick of the wind. Yet deep inside, he knew the whisper had spoken his name. Outside, children played near the river, but their laughter stopped when they saw him. One of them whispered, "He had her." He sought out the oldest man in Kalenga, Mzee Hemed, the last keeper of the village secrets. The elder sat beneath a dying acacia tree, eyes clouded with years. "You saw her, didn't you?" The scholar nodded. "Then listen," said the old man. "That tree once had roots in blood." "Long ago," said the elder, "there was a healer named Nasira. She cured the sick, brought rain, and spoke with the spirits. But when the crops failed and children died, they called her a witch. They tied her to the baobab, sealed her inside, alive. That night, the sky wept blood, and the wind has never been quiet since." The scholar's heart pounded. If she was buried inside the tree, her bones must still be there, he whispered. The elder's eyes widened. No one digs near that tree. Those who tried were taken. But curiosity is a hunger that grows in silence. And that night the scholar walked toward the plains, shovel in hand. He began to dig near the roots. The soil was dry, yet the deeper he went, the wetter it became. a strange smell filled the air, not of rot, but of sorrow. Then his shovel hit something soft. He brushed away the dirt and saw a fragment of bone wrapped in what looked like hair. Suddenly, the earth shuddered. The roots moved, slow, like waking serpents. A drop of red seeped from the wood. Then another. He stepped back, trembling, as the baobab began to breathe. From inside, a woman's voice rose, not in anger, but in sorrow. "Why did you wake me?" That night, the wind came earlier. It carried a voice, softer, slower, like it was learning to speak. Amina sat by her small lantern, heart pounding as she heard it again. Only this time, the whisper said her name. "Ah-me-na." Her blood froze. She looked toward the window. The baobab swayed slowly against the moonlight, its shadow reaching closer to her heart. The whisper grew into a chorus of sighs, as if hundreds of unseen mouths murmured through the leaves. She covered her ears, trembling, but the whispers grew inside her head. At dawn, Amina stumbled outside, pale and sleepless. By the well, a group of children were playing with small wooden dolls made of baobab bark. When she asked where they got them, one child smiled. "The tree gave them to us." She froze. The dolls had tiny carvings, faces of people. She recognized one. It looked exactly like her grandmother. The bark felt warm, like skin. When Amina tried to take them, the children screamed and ran, their laughter echoing unnaturally, like voices trapped in a hollow trunk. That evening, she went to see the village elder, Mzee Baraka. He sat beneath a smaller tree, his eyes old and clouded. Before she spoke, he said softly, "You have heard it, haven't you?" He told her that long ago, when the land was young, a healer's spirit was buried alive under that baobab. He whispered one rule: never answer when it calls your name. For once you do, it will no longer whisper, it will speak through you. The wind rose suddenly, scattering ashes from the elder's fire. Amina looked back. The baobab swayed even though the air was still. That night, the heavens cracked open. Rain fell like tears on the roof of her heart. Thunder roared, but between each rumble, she heard the whisper again. "Amina, help me." She wanted to scream, but instead she whispered back, "Who are you?" The storm went silent. The lantern went out, and in the dark, a voice answered, not from outside, but from inside the heart. "I am what the roots remember." The floor trembled. The mud walls wept sap. Outside, the baobab shuddered like something alive was pushing beneath its bark. The moment she spoke, the air thickened, heavy and warm like the breath of the earth itself. Her lantern flickered back to life on its own. The flame burned green. From outside, the baobab began to groan, its roots twisting, pulling against the soil. The earth cracked. Amina felt her feet sink slightly into the damp floor, as if invisible roots were wrapping around her ankles. Her voice trembled. "What do you want from me?" Then silence, and a whisper so close it brushed her ear. To be remembered. She fell to her knees as unseen hands touched her face, soft, cold, and ancient. The next morning, the rain had stopped, but the village was silent. When the first rays of sun touched the baobab, something glimmered on its back. Faces. Dozens of faces carved into the trunk, their eyes half opened. The villagers gathered, whispering in fear. And there, near the center of the trunk, a new face had appeared, Amina's. Her eyes seemed alive, watching them. When the wind passed, her mouth moved, but no sound came out. Mzee Baraka fell to his knees, tears mixing with the red dust. The tree has chosen another. That night the wind returned, not as a whisper, but as a song. Soft voices hummed through the leaves like a lullaby from the dead. Mzee Baraka listened, trembling. He heard Amina's voice among them. Do not cut the tree, or you'll wake what sleeps beneath. The ground beneath the baobab pulsed faintly, like a heart. The whispers turned into a deep breath that rustled every branch. The elder backed away, whispering prayers into the dark. The villagers sealed their doors, and for the first time in generations, no one dared to speak the tree's name aloud. Years passed. No one dared build near the tree again. Children were warned never to play close. For sometimes, when the wind was right, you could still hear her voice, soft, calling from the trunk. Remember me. They say the baobab still stands, roots thick as time, leaves whispering secrets that no one dares answer. And when the moon is full, the shadows beneath it move, even when the wind is still. The legend of the whispering baobab became a warning of what happens when the forgotten call out and someone answers.